Some people never get fooled, not because they're smarter than everyone else in the room, but because they learn to watch instead of listen. You felt this before, the moment you trusted someone's words over what their actions were already telling you, and it cost you something. That gap between what people say and what they actually do isn't an accident. It's where most of life's damage happens, and almost nobody is ever taught to close it. By the end of this video, you'll have a working method for reading what's underneath the life of the performance, and the first moment of the performance, you can help the performance undermine and return. Machiavelli built his entire understanding of human nature on one foundation, that appearance and reality are almost never the same thing, and the people who survive are the ones who stopped confusing the two. This isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone you meet, it's about becoming accurate, and accuracy changes the entire shape of how you move through your relationships, your work, and your alliances. Signal 1. Watch what repeats, not what's said once. A single kind act tells you nothing. Anyone can perform generosity for an afternoon. What a person does when they think no one is keeping score, repeated over weeks, that's the actual signal. Strategic observers don't trust a moment, they trust a pattern, because patterns are expensive to fake, and moments are free. Signal 2. Notice who gets calmer under pressure, and who gets louder. Comfort reveals nothing about a person. Anyone can be agreeable when life is easy. The moment stress enters the room, masks slip. Someone who stays measured when things go wrong is showing you their actual operating system. Someone who explodes or disappears is showing you that too. File both away as data, not as drama. Here's the part that's harder to admit than it should be. Most people don't get deceived because they're naive. They get deceived because they wanted the lie to be true. That single distortion is worth sitting with before we go further. Signal 3. Track who only shows up during your wins. Support that only appears when you're succeeding isn't support. It's proximity to advantage. The person who stayed present during your worst stretch and never needed credit for it is operating on a completely different incentive than the person who only texts when there's something to celebrate alongside you. Signal 4. Listen for the gap between what someone complains about and what they actually want. A complaint is rarely about the surface issue. Someone who constantly mentions being underpaid is usually talking about feeling undervalued, not about the number on a check. Strategic listeners hear the want underneath the complaint and respond to that instead of the words on the surface. Signal 5. Pay attention to who needs you small. Some people only feel comfortable around you when you're struggling, uncertain, or smaller than them. The moment you grow, gain confidence, or succeed, their warmth cools by exactly that margin. That correlation is not a coincidence, and once you see it once, you'll never miss it again. Most people stop here, satisfied they can now spot a liar. That's the wrong finish line. The actual skill isn't detection, it's restraint. Knowing what you see and choosing exactly when to act on it, that's the difference between observation and power. Signal 6. Watch how someone treats people who can't do anything for them. The waiter, the assistant, the stranger who can't advance their position. That's the version of a person with no audience to perform for. Whoever shows up in that moment is who they actually are everywhere else, on a day when nobody important is watching. Signal 7. Notice who needs to win every conversation.
Constant correction, constant one-upping, constant need to be the smartest person in the exchange. That's not confidence, that's insecurity, wearing confidence's clothes.
People who are actually secure in their position don't need every interaction to end with them on top. Here's the realization underneath every signal on this list. You were never bad at reading people.
You were just trained to listen for honesty instead of watching for consistency. And those are two completely different skills. Words can be rehearsed in seconds.
A pattern takes months to fake, and almost nobody has the patience to fake one for that long. That's your advantage now. Not suspicion, just attention, applied consistently over time to the people who actually matter. If this changed how you'll look at the next conversation you have, that's the entire point. If you want to go deeper into the trait that makes all 7 of these signals sharper, watch why the quietest person is always the most dangerous. Next, because silence is what gives you the room to actually see all of this in the first place. Take care of yourself.